I'm sitting on a Frisco book, Mike.
Whoa.
How's that?
Oh, yeah.
There's Tim.
Is this the best
Now
hobby
we
in the
know
world?
how you really feel.
With the best people in the world in it.
And there really is a true bunch of great people here.
Are you okay,
It
Ken?
really is.
He's Size-wise, you good?
He's okay.
All
right.
Okay, let's do this like we've done it before. Show number 83. I'll open it. I'm going to throw it to you guys. And we're going to have some fun tonight like we always do. So rock and roll. We got all three cameras recording, right?
Yep.
And sound is good. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 83. We're coming right off the Prototype Modelers Meet with a lot of wonderful people on the property tonight. So hang tight. This is going to be a really good one with a lot of great information. The best hobby in the world, guys. Let's do this. Number 83. The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by Micromark, the small tool specialists. Visit their website and use product code WNTW at www.micromark.com/WNTW. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 83 for July 27th, 2019. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine that we all like to watch. And tonight we've got a full crowd. We are just coming off of the Model Railroad Prototype Modelers Meet here in St. Louis. That's the RPM Meet, as it's most favorably known. It's their 13th show that they've done now this year, and it was outstanding, and I'm sure everybody's going to give us a testament to that.
Yes.
So I want to tell you that we've got Sam Denehy on the show tonight. We've got Steve Hurt, and we started a new auction with his new Rock Island box, our
Pickup truck.
Pickup
Yes.
truck right here, which is something different, but it's a museum quality model. George Bogatiuk from Soundtracks is also in the room with us. Thank you, George. I got Jeff Otto, and I've got Ed Dressel sitting over here. That's awesome. Sitting right next to me is Michael Budde.
Mike.
Budde. I got Dave Davis. We all love Dave's track. I also have special guests that we're going to bring in later on, and that is Rick Dakota Kemp, otherwise known as Ducky Rock and Roll. We've also got Bob Rivard, famous for all of his Sioux Line models that he's had published in all of the magazines, including Rail Model Journals in the 80s. You motivated me, Bob. We've also,
And me too.
I know, rock and roll. We've actually got more people on here. We're going to bring them as it goes along. What's that name right there?
Dave Davis.
I already said it. Rock and roll.
that guy?
Can't read my own writing. So, guys, I don't know how we're going to start this out, but we've also got a lot of beautiful freight cars on the table, and I'll just launch into new news, and that is the 100th birthday occurred a week ago at the Colorado Model Railroad Museum for that beautiful CNS caboose, number 10583. They decked it out, they cleaned it up, and they've had a lot of beautiful photographs that I'm showing you right now on their Facebook page. So, I don't know, do we have birthday cabooses? I mean, we're doing it, so rock and roll.
Yeah.
What a beautiful collector's item that you guys have restored out there, and what a great museum you've got. We really thank you for that.
Can a caboose blow out candles?
I don't know the answer to that, George.
If it's going fast enough.
That's right.
Depends on how big the smokestack
Now,
is.
Dave Davis, I know you were very impressed with the show today, and you were eager to talk about it, and we're going to have Daniel do that, too. Go ahead,
Yes.
Dave. Shoot.
I have
Where's
to tell
Daniel
you,
at?
Daniel's
you know,
over
I,
there. Yeah, he's coming.
We got Daniel Coombs on tonight, too, guys.
Yes.
I helped co-found this show in the very beginning, and I came up with some cash, and John Golden and a few others were involved. After about 3 years, it was
The RPM you're
Daniel
talking about.
Kohlberg
Yeah.
got involved and took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Today, this show has more than any hobby shop in the world as far as innovative products. This show has people that share things instead of competing.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
have a show that is for the modeler, the person that wants to hear the appreciation of it, and the person that wants to share the appreciation of it. And we have people from everywhere, all walks of life. We have every demographic here
Yeah.
in these shows.
All sharing a
Dave.
common bond.
And one thing I noticed in all these shows versus any other train show I've been to, the people will share it. They're not angry.
Yeah.
They're happy. They're not armchair experts. They're knowledgeable. And people come down from Wisconsin, Indiana, from all over the world
Yeah.
on some of these shows. And we have to thank the people on the West Coast for starting this stuff.
Yeah.
I did some history on it today and yesterday, and Fremo, the RPM stuff, started from these guys on the West Coast. And once other people like us saw it, we wanted it. There's our niche. All of us know why we're doing this. We're recreating some history, some feelings.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
Ken
what I said.
Patterson, Ken Patterson is an absolute magician when it comes to inspiring the one, not just to purchase, but to have these things, to recreate these things,
Yeah.
and to do them the easiest way.
And recreate any
Amen.
era
Show it-
too.
Yeah.
to show us, to
definitely.
give us the tools, to show us the tools to use, to show us the methods to use.
Not
The
only
clinics
not,
are amazing. The
not
clinics.
only that, but
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
clinics are huge. I can't even get to that. I don't have enough time here.
You're
I'm
right.
not going to
I
hide
know
that.
you're not.
Right.
So I'm
It's-
done. I'm
it's
done.
not only that; it's more like a family reunion because
Yeah.
you know,
It's
I,
that
see
too.
guys.
It's that
I haven't
too.
seen Sam since last year. You know, I got Ray in the back there. I mean, you know, a
There
lot
are
of
so many
are-
people here tonight.
I call friends and I see on Facebook all the time, and we talk on Facebook. But
we
to-
know who we're talking to.
right,
Right.
right.
We
And-
know who we're
and we
talking
get
to. There's
see
nobody
each other here and
upstaging
hang out.
anybody.
Right, exactly.
Nobody
Yeah,
upstages anybody.
there's no
Exactly.
contest
And that's
atmosphere.
why, you know, I look at John Golden years ago, and I got tired of running the show. It's like, man, I want to get out of here. And John Golden's over there going, and he's a young guy. Okay, I'm not that old, but he's younger, and he's talking to guys that model stuff in the '50s, and he's interested in that. Now, if
Yeah.
that's somebody that's not dedicated,
Right.
and it shows up today, and then you
Yeah.
get Daniel Kohlberg, the absolute art of font.
Yeah.
Okay, and accurate material. If you wanted an Illinois Central decal, you got it with everything on that car that ever was on that car. So it's just a great thing, and I'm going to shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. I want to throw it to George Bogatiuk, and I'll tell you why. Because George has been around the industry for years now, and he has seen the major train shows, and he's seen the more intimate prototype modelers meets, which are more about models and small niche mom and pop companies as compared. You don't see Bachman set up the RPM meet, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So, George, what differentiate an RPM meet from an NMRA National?
Well, we just got back from the NMRA National a week ago or so, and there's just so many people that come to this because they advertise it for the public. They come in, and anybody can come in and they do it. But when we come to the RPM meets, these are the serious guys. These are the guys that really, really want to pay
Hardcore
attention
guys.
to it. The
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah.
These are the guys I
But
love
not
being around.
snooty, though. You know, you say
Right.
hardcore and all this, and we're all historians and all this, but we're
Yeah.
not that type of historian.
Right.
Fair enough, and everybody shares the passion.
Yes.
But what I meant by is as opposed to the oh, what do you guys do? Oh, you guys make sounds? There's an industry for that? Those type of things. And so,
Yes.
you know, we get that a lot. And,
Yeah.
you know, especially like on a Sunday on a regular national show and things like that.
Here you go. Stay close.
But when
Yes,
we,
thank you. That's
There.
my sound.
That's
Sorry.
good.
But when we do these RPM meets, I really enjoy learning from everybody, and I get asked a lot of questions. I always make sure to bring models of my own because I've been doing this since I was 14, and so you know, for years and years, I've learned from people how to do things, how to try things out, and really push the envelope myself. I mean,
Through RPMs or clubs?
what's
Through
that? I'm sorry?
RPMs or clubs? Or
Clubs and friends and just reading magazines and things like that. I've seen, you know, Ken's work in magazines years. I've seen Bob Rivard's work in magazines and years, and it's really kind of pushed me to that end. And I've really kind of pushed myself, and it's like, try something out. Worst case, you scrap it and start over again.
But isn't it kind of neat to see something in the magazine and go to an RPM meet and actually meet the author?
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
It's
see
what
the
did it
models.
for me. I go up to St. Paul. I meet Bob Brevard by accident. I hear his name. I turn around and it's like him. And he invites me to his house. I get to go see all this
Isn't
stuff.
that a cool layout?
Yeah.
It's just something. It's a whole different revolutionary thing that nobody was paying attention to a prototype modeler back
Right.
then.
Right.
It was like, oh, he's got to deal
Right.
with duck gunners. He's got to deal with this. And they're not paying attention to what he's doing.
And you know, for me, that's part of the thing I enjoy it is because I enjoy teaching people as well, and so I get a lot of people come over and ask me, you know, things like that, and that's why I love bringing the models because no, I'm not an expert, no, I'm not the best, but I may show somebody how to do something that they didn't know how to do, and I always look at everything in this industry as, I mean, we all were not born knowing how to model railroad,
Right.
and so by communicating and learning with everybody and talking, that's where I think it's a lot more fun and make the
Yeah.
friends.
Now, don't get us wrong here. We do like Ken Patterson's eye candy. That's what all keeps us coming back.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right, speaking of eye candy, Samuel Denehy had some beautiful models this week, including the Ghostbusters Ambulance. There's a specific title for that vehicle, with sound in it and LED lights. Samuel, we interviewed you last year for the What's Neat show, and the most interesting question that I asked you at the end of that interview was, would we be able to get you to finally model a train, something that rides on the rails? And tell me what happened, Samuel.
Well, I am working on making the Back to the Future 3 scene where the steam engine is pushing the DeLorean into the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
We'll take
I've
that.
got the engine.
We'll take it.
I'm working with Ken to figure out the logistics on making the train trestle, but we're going to get this working, and hopefully next year for this show, I'll have it all ready for you.
Nice.
Nice.
That's something.
We love your
Something.
work.
You're making
We're
progress,
holding you
Ken.
to that too.
The other thing that I showed off, and we're going to show all this off in the October What's Neat video over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. In fact, I'm going to tell you something really interesting. We've got 60 people here tonight, and they all stood outside while somebody stood on a ladder, i.e. me, and we shot the opening for the October What's Neat video where everybody said that part where October's What's Neat starts right now. This was cool. It was a lot of fun to see the participation and all the great smiles when we did that quick clip, and we did it on the first take. But we got 60 folks here. I counted 33 cars filling up the acre front yard that we've got. So rock and roll. This works without a hitch. Butch Eiler was shooting some beautiful, magnificent drone footage tonight. He took his drone up for a ride above the bluff, and I think he showed us some of the crowd. So hopefully if I got
All
that
right.
retrieved
That's
off
going to
of
be neat to watch.
this should be beautiful still
fun.
Can I
photography as
sneak
well.
peek before everybody else gets to see it?
We all love Butch Eiler. You guys all remember Butch as being part of the Rust Bucket, the weathering shop. Is that what they call that? Great modelers. Remember Gary Christensen that we had on the show way back when? There's an edit because I'm looking for that clip right now. Great guys with that group. They were also here in Power. We were very glad to see them. Perry, we look forward to seeing you next time you get into town, so rock and roll with that. So without further ado, I'm going to go to Steve Hurt because Steve has got something going on now with this beautiful Rock Island truck, which is a museum quality scale model. We've shown this off on the show before. 1/24th scale, I believe is what it is, and we recently put this on eBay as of a couple of days ago. I want you guys to look for this on eBay. You can type in the words "What's Neat" to find it. What was the description we typed? You typed it all.
Yes, if you just search on eBay for What's Neat, it'll come up right away. It was the first thing that came up if you enter it.
Perfect.
It'll be easy to find, and hopefully everybody will be interested.
Now, why is he selling one of his most beautiful
I was
works
just
of
going to
art?
ask that. I
That's what we
can't
like to
believe
see.
he's parting with this thing.
I know. How about that?
So
the
what-
fact
what's
is,
the
what he
reason?
wanted to do is after he saw the George Celios and all the other wonderful donations that we've had with freight cars. Remember the George Celios AccuRail boxcar that sold for right around $1,001, I think is what it was. $1,000, right?
That was amazing.
What he wants to do is he wants to donate the proceeds to this, just like George Celios did with his boxcar, to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum to help them with their ongoing expansion plans that are right now in the works. And I can't really talk about that, but the fact is they're working on it and it's going to come to fruition. And these are the little increment bits and chunks that we're going to try to help them with. I look forward to seeing what this sells for. How was the show for you, man? Tell me, brother. You built a brand new vehicle. I don't know if I shot B-roll of it, but it's probably here tonight, so I will.
Yeah, I can always bring it in.
Steve, tell me what this gorgeous model is we're looking at right now.
The high rail truck is a '76 Chevy. It's 1/25th scale.
Oh, that's this truck. Okay.
Everything for as far as the high rail system, most of the details, the bed are all scratch built.
What about the toolbox?
The toolbox is a resin casting, but I cut it apart so I can make the lids open. It's full
Okay.
of tools, everything appropriate for what a track gang would be.
The
hauling
beacon,
around
that's
in the
all
back.
scratch built?
Yes, the beacon is out of yellow plastic and then a piece of aluminum tubing. Guitar wire for the antennas, that type of thing. So the wheels are scratch built, and then each of the lug nuts is a main casting that I cut off and put in place.
What? Yeah.
The high rail functions, you can make it go up and down. So hopefully somebody will appreciate it, and
they
hopefully
will.
it'll sell well and do something for the
That's a
museum.
mantelpiece.
That's great.
If I've
That's
ever
going to
seen
hurt a
it.
lot of
Hopefully
feelings
good
when
luck.
that goes.
Yeah, hopefully there's some interest and that somebody will get it, that'll appreciate it, and that'll do something for the museum. You know?
And maybe
It's
they'll
I'm not selling
maybe they'll
for
display it in
me,
the
it's
museum.
for that cause.
Steve, you also had another new model that you just built. Every year for the Prototype Modelers Meet in St. Louis, you have a brand new model that you build for the show.
I try to do.
What'd you bring this year?
This year I brought a 53 GMC Cannonball. It was the truck that was the kind of the yard goat for the Frisco and the Springfield yard. Most of the time it pulled a dedicated trailer that was just hauling pieces, usually wheels, from the car shop over to the wheel shop to be worked on and then brought back. And
Rock and roll.
It just, for the most part, it had been originally a road tractor, but it was eventually just
Sentenced
got
to the
dedicated
yard.
to the yard. Yeah, sentenced to the yard. Led a pretty hard life there, I'm pretty sure, but it was an interesting piece, and it was kind of my taste, and I think everybody enjoyed it. So,
Rock and roll.
It's almost everything on it scratch built. The trailer completely. It's got machine steel wheels on the trailer for the load. The wheel rack on the trailer is scratch built out of brass, and then nobody could really see it, but there's a scratch built motor inside it and transmission and all that. So
That's awesome. I love
most
it.
of it you can't see, but it would have been there. So
That's awesome.
Can you take that apart for B-roll, or is it sealed?
I can send Ken the pictures. How's that?
Yeah, right. There you go.
Okay. Good enough.
Quickly, I'm going to get this out by Monday sometime, Monday night.
Yes, absolutely. I can do it right now.
Joshua Barton, I don't remember introducing you in the opening, did I?
Nope, you sure
I
didn't.
don't remember
did not.
saying
He did
that
not.
we got sugar fire.
I'm not even here, practice.
Joshua Barton sitting right next to me, and I did not introduce you. How rude is that? But the fact is, look at how many people went to your restaurant this week. Yesterday, last night for dinner. Guys, I know a lot of you guys did, right? Come on,
Mike Budde and Mike
Thank you very
Budde.
much. We appreciate the patronage.
Sugar fire. Best barbecue. God, I love that food. Their turkey.
Oh, my wife loves
yeah,
it. My
it's great,
wife
isn't
loves
it?
it. Makes me go to Fenton for it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
now you can get it in Schnook stores. 120 Schnook stores.
Yes.
You
Are
can
you
get it.
I saw that on the
No.
door.
No, I saw
Yeah.
those. Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Wow.
cheap,
Yeah.
but it's worth the price.
It is worth the
Rock and
price,
roll.
so- Right.
Samuel Denehy, something else I noticed on your diorama table this week was you had a model of the Norman Bates Museum, including the house up on the hill. Tell us
Yes.
about what inspired you, other than a movie, to do that.
I had the hotel long ago. I think it was a Bachman or a Pinewood kit or something. And then I got the Mills Diner, and I said, okay, well, now I've got the Ghostbusters Firehouse. What else can I put on this module? And so since I already had the hotel, I had to get the Bates house. And just figure out how to get it all on the same module, because right in front of that is the Munsters house.
Awesome.
So it was ridiculously it's going to get bigger and bigger. So
Right.
That's awesome. And
That's what we all know.
I'll save the rest of the buildings for October.
He's not building a layout, though.
No track on there.
Yeah.
I want to very quickly say, since this is going to be, we're working through the show bit by bit, making it up as we're going along. I want to thank very much the NCE Corporation for helping sponsor and support the What's Neat show.
Yes, indeed.
Also, I'd like to thank Micromark for creating a partnership with us, where that we can have that micromark.com website where you type in WNTW, my license plates, and you can get a discount on your purchases from Micromark. Thank you very much for that. And I don't want to go without, I talked about NCE, I talked about Micromark. Who else do we
I'll add
have?
one little thing about
Bob
Micromark.
Rivard?
Let me add one little thing about.
Yeah, oh my God, Athern. Chris Palomares is not here tonight. That's why I didn't remember it. Chris, where are you? We miss you.
He got worn out at the show,
He was
and all
so
week
freaking out.
working, he had to go
Yeah, he
home.
was
This
working
wasn't
hard.
fun for him today.
We also want to thank Athern very much for
Well,
the
it was
support.
fun, but it's wearing.
Right.
Now, I've got some magnificent freight cars on the table, and I'm not talking about these What's Neat This Week box cars that
But
you
those
can
are
get
pretty
from
nice as well.
ValueTrainsUSA.com, either the gold car or the black car. I'm showing you outdoor photography like I always do. We've sold quite a few of these. Thank you very much for helping support the show with that as well. Now, I've got Rick Dakota Kemp, otherwise known as, I said, Ducky, Ducky, Ducky. I love it. That's awesome. But the fact is, you create some of the most moving, I don't remember what the word was, when you do freight cars for the troops, honor of the veterans, you capture a mood in your work that is moving. And I don't know how else to say it, but
No, you
I'm
said
going to
it.
show
Yeah,
some of
that
your
says it
photos.
pretty
Said
good.
it.
I don't know how to say it. I just painted.
Throw him the microphone, Steve. Ducky, tell me about your passion for trains, because you've got one for creating art for other people to enjoy. And none of this stuff, pretty much none of it is all decals. It is all you hand paint stuff
Everything I do is hand painted
with a brush.
with a brush.
Wow.
I mean, it all started, a while back, and I had made a layout, and as much as I did on the scenery, it just didn't look right. The train was all nice and shiny, brand new, and realized after a little while that what it needed to look prototypical was some art on the cars. And I wasn't going to go and try and copy everybody else's work. I was going to come up with my own, and I just did stuff that meant something to me. It's my layout, just like I tell everybody else. They're like, well, what shall I put on this car? I'm like, it's your car. It's
Right.
It's not technically vandalism since you own it. I mean, so.
True.
It's art. It is
That's right.
absolutely
It is
beautiful
art.
art.
It's amazing art, is what it is. I've been following him for
No,
quite a long
that's
time.
beyond amazing. I can't think of a word for this. I thought those. I swear to God, I thought there was decals.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't even.
I
I don't
took a
even
second
believe
look.
them right now.
when I
Looking at
first
it, I don't
made-
believe them.
How did you do the flag car, the passenger car here with the George Bush casket in it? Was that George Bush?
Bush 41.
It
Right.
got
Got to get that
41
right.
Casket. It
Right.
has
Sorry about there, George Jr. Son.
the sentinel standing there watching over it. It actually has the cameraman. If you see on the newspaper,
Right.
the exact
I got
angle
B-roll of
that was taken, I made that scene going on in the car.
Nice.
That's amazing.
That just is.
Your stuff is inspiring and moving. It moves people to emotion.
Yeah.
Would you say when you do a large scale auto rack? And I saw you painting one at the show today. I'm showing clips right now of you painting. There were helicopters on it. There were soldiers on it.
I did a little scene, where they're raising the flag. I did 2 of the helicopters, the 90s style, Afghanistan, Iraq war area. The Vietnam was also on there, so just to give everybody a little bit of, it's never forget.
The
Right.
shadowing on
Right
it is
on.
just amazing. There's so much detail that you put into those.
Beautiful.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I swear to God, you are that. If that is
All right,
really you
grab your
painting
stuff,
this,
paint
and
us
this
one
is
right
not
now.
some kind of reproduction, I am absolutely freaking amazed.
Check out his
Yeah.
Facebook
Hey.
page. Tell us, Dakota, where is your Facebook page where they can see
It-
all your beautiful work?
If you're on Facebook, you can go to Dakota's Railroad Shop.
I don't care. I'm from
And-
Missouri. Seeing's believing. I swear to God, that's
I love it that
beautiful.
you're here.
That's
Sorry.
something else.
That's awesome.
If this is really your paint work, you are something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him
Just make
finish
it up
his-
as I go.
Yeah.
Dave Davis, that's amazing.
Okay. I owe you an apology.
Why is that?
I did not make it to your restaurant. I will have to come back down here and see you all again.
This is what you
It's all good.
apologize
Because last
for.
night, I'm going to send the pictures to Ken. I was painting 6 of those experienced
Oh,
baggage
we
cars in
saw
the
you.
hotel room last
man.
night.
He was posting hourly
This is
what
Dave
he was
Hussey's
doing.
son. This is Dave Hussey's son. He does
Right.
it in the motel room.
And
right
in
before
fact,
the
your
show.
father is with us this evening, and I told him what a brilliant artist you are. He already knew it. He told me what a great son you were. So rock and roll, kumbaya. Yeah, kumbaya. Thank you, Dad.
No doubt.
That's awesome. First now,
I've never said that.
we're going to go over to Ed Dressel. We're going to swing that microphone over there to Ed.
Yes, sir.
And you and
Hey,
you guys
and
are
Jeff
both
Otto.
talking. Jeff, get back over here, brother. You guys are both talking about a new track product that you are working on for our industry. Jeff, get in there and both of us tell us about this.
Well, everybody knows Oak Hill Track. Jeff's
Oak Hill.
had this beautiful creation that he had a few years ago, and I was blessed to kind of combine my thoughts and process with all of my background in architectural scale models that I've had, right? Industrial stuff.
Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply is the name of his company. He used to sponsor the What's Neat show.
Since
And we appreciate that.
1984.
And a proud sponsor,
Proud.
Ken.
That was
Proud
awesome.
sponsor.
Hey,
That's right.
you can
The
come back
first
anytime you
sponsor.
want.
That's right. 001.
You were the first.
right, yeah.
So it was 84 when you were designing the Plaza Motors building and things.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a teenager, right? I mean,
Right. As a
Ken's
teenager,
mentioned the overachiever part, right? Yeah.
Designing buildings.
Yes, the
So-
overachiever.
I think to kind of best describe where I'm at, and I think some people can relate, you accumulate all this stuff, right? And then you grow old, and then you realize, I got to get somewhere faster, right? I got to do it better, quicker, faster. But I don't sacrifice on quality, right? And partnering with Jeff has been a blessing because we're both very fanatic about being
Consistent.
correct.
Right.
Consistent.
That's probably a good
You've
word,
always
too.
been that way.
Yeah, but I don't settle, right? I mean,
That's right.
To me, there's the right way to do things and get an example of what you that complements everything else that you have.
All right, so tell me
right?
about this product. What is it? What's it going to do?
So, yeah, Jeff, I mean,
And I don't have any
You got it.
B-roll, so explain it carefully.
Spike plates all day long.
Right, exactly.
Good time.
The whole
Good
idea,
time.
the concept of handling track has always been the idea that it's better looking, right? I think, a single spike, fat spike stuck in with no tie plate doesn't quite do it for me, right? We also recognize, I've spent a lot of years collecting all the Pettibone, actual railroad drawings, right? All this
Right.
stuff is derived from real things, not some falsely made up piece of
Yes.
artistry.
Yes.
So the conceptual idea is to be able to lay it quick, right? Get it down. So the base is done out of a routed MDF base, right, to create the tie base.
What's
It'll have
what's MDF?
MDF,
Is it
medium
like a-
density fiberboard,
Okay.
right? It's faux, right? You scratch the material to create the, like you do, right? You're a master at this.
Well,
to create the wood
I
grain.
wouldn't say that, but I'm
Yeah,
trying.
but to create the wood grain, you have a brass tie plate insert, not individual tie plates, but actually a sprue that spans all the different lengths. So you put them all at once.
so you lay
right?
like 20 at a time, and boom,
Yep.
they're in.
So you do a whole turnout, like a number 8 turnout. Set it down, you're done.
That's
Oh, wow.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
I
the
look forward
spike
to that.
details are there. It has the heel, right, for the rail, so it's self-gauging.
Yes.
Right?
Well, that's huge.
But no spikes.
Yeah.
Now, the brand name of this track is called Road Master Track, as you can see from Jeff's both. Look at those shirts. Isn't that cool? Check that out. Ed Dressel and Jeff, they match. Rock and roll. But the fact is, this is a whole new brand of super detailed track that you're going to come out with. How long before we see this on the market?
We are in production now. We should have pieces. I actually almost brought pieces. That's how close we are. So
That's great.
we're within the next couple of months of being able to roll this out.
Look forward to
Great.
seeing it.
Jeff,
and
I'm
then
sure-
one more
yeah.
thing I just wanted to add, Ken, is as far as the parts, we got the track, but we're going to have all new frogs, diamonds, all new points,
All new
bars,
detail parts. This is all new
Yeah.
stuff.
detail parts
Bolt
like the
detail
fish
stuff?
plates, rail
Right.
joiners,
Really?
gauge bars.
So
you
here's the
name it, we're going to have
Genesis
it.
track coming
Right.
out of your little shop. We're gonna love it.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah, you guys are going to
It's gonna
love
be
it. Trust me.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Thank you.
Yep.
So while Mike Budde's talking and telling us about what he thought about the show, because Mike hasn't said too much yet tonight, I want to switch out Ed Dressel and Jeff Otto with, who am I switching it out with? Bob Rivard, the Sea Line. Where are you at, Bob? Yes, you are, brother. Go, find your way.
That sounds good.
And talk right into that Rode broadcaster microphone
right.
by the screen so I get a
Okay.
good voice. Does he need to
You
have
got
that
it.
twisted up towards? He's tall.
Yeah.
Can
let me
somebody
do
adjust
this.
that? Can somebody adjust that up for him? Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Now it's in your face. Wow.
Bob Rivard, I videotaped a brand new diorama that you brought this year. It's very beautiful. It's longer than the one you had a couple of years back. Tell us about this
Yes.
beautiful work of art.
Well, this was a model. This is a model, actual one-to-one model of a section of the High Line in northeast Minneapolis, and 1980 I built this. So I was like 4 years out of high school, and I'm up on these trestles, inspired by photos I've seen. But I'm up on the trestle with a tape measure and my drawing, and I'm making drawings, and I'm building this thing. So today it's like. And that was before they had structural shapes and plastic. So the steel beams are actually wood to make, and I drilled out where the rivets go,
Right.
little pieces
The
of
big
brass
blue bridges
wire.
like that,
And
too.
I wanted this thing to be, and so that the High Line was built in 1920 as a bypass to for Shoreham Yard, so the trains could bypass the yard. And it's just a neat piece of track. My co-modeler Frank Jordan and I have observed trains for years on this area track. Today, there's a grade out of the Mississippi River Valley. They use helpers. Back in the day, and today, the Canadian Pacific runs all their westbounds down that track. And static grass. Now I redid the ground foam. No more ground foam. It's all static grass, as you guys know.
And those
I
new
love it.
backdrops you're using are
That-
great. The picture stuff you're
You've
using
seen
for
the ones
backdrops,
you're probably talking about the ones at Cardigan Junction.
It's getting hard
Yep.
to tell where the layout ends now
Yep.
and the
That's
backdrop
nice.
begins.
And I take my models, I take my those dioramas that you saw at the show, occasionally outside, set them on my car, a la Ken Patterson.
Rock and roll.
I put I take in, got a few on this hard drive here.
You got to love it when the sunshine
Yep.
licks those
And
models. It makes it look beautiful.
And you get real sky, the sun. Your models can't help but look pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's my passion. What you saw here today.
You rock, man.
It's-
I love you.
It sits in
That's
the
great.
that sits in the rafters in my garage because doesn't go on the railroad. That's just before I knew what I wanted to model.
Right.
And I built that area of the High Line in Northeast there. So.
See, there goes the Fremo Toma
And by the way, let me
His
just
first
say,
module
2020 is
Let-
coming up, guys.
let me just say, it's so fun to talk to Dave this way. We about once a month we get together on the phone. I get home from work from Channel 11. It's so
About
nice to
12,
get a call.
12:30,
It's
1
so
o'clock
nice to
at
get a
night.
call from Dave. That's my hours.
I
get
wish
home,
we had two red
know?
cups with a long
And
string on it right
it's so
now. You
great.
guys can talk to each
it's
other right
great.
here.
And I get home and we talk about the Sioux Line, and I love
Hey,
it.
and believe me, I got plenty of questions. And
Yes.
This is Mr. Sue Line, and one of the three of them.
Yep,
He
I
just doesn't
love
have a
it.
briefcase.
It's great to be here. Frank and I have been coming down here. This is our 3rd year, and we just got hooked on it, and we
Hey,
love it.
you guys have a good one up
So-
there, though, too. You
Yeah,
guys have a good
yeah.
RPM
Luke
meet.
Lemons came to that this year from Green Bay, and
Yeah,
in
see,
Plymouth,
this is-
Minnesota, the Modelers Retreat,
It's
the
the
Plymouth
same type
Modelers
of people.
Retreat.
Same
Ken
type of
Ziska
people.
puts it on. Yep, it's like this, but a lot smaller, but it's fun.
That's
It is.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
it is.
anyway,
It is.
yes.
You were talking about bridges, and I love your Sioux Line bridges. Sam Denehy was talking to me about bridges too, and I'm talking to you a lot tonight. But the fact is, you and I had a lot of exchanges, and that was you wanted to know how to build a trestle. So I showed you the 12 by 12 timbers, and I showed you a
Yes.
jig to do that. So you kind of got a short clinic tonight.
Yes, thank you for that.
And you're
like
gonna
I
do that.
said, you're gonna help me somehow to make that little diorama of the Back to the Future car go straight into the future, where this little diorama is gonna be.
That's awesome. And if
So
you too
thank
want to
you.
learn how to build trestles, I'm looking at these different cameras. That one over there. Give me a camera, Bufoden. If you want to learn how to build trestles too, I ended the discussion by explaining to you, Sam, that you could check out my website, kenpatterson.com, and on there I've got a video on how to build Lightner trestle. I love the cheap plug, but the fact is there's a lot of educational material on that website, the stuff that doesn't make it in Model Road Hobbyist magazine or on the podcast. Anything you ever see on my website, you will never see published elsewhere. I promise you that, because you guys are paying money for that material. So rock and roll. It's just a matter of respect for your time. Now I'm going back over to George Bogatiuk, but you're going to say something. Go ahead.
I was going to say I love that trestle that you made there.
Oh, it's yours. I gave it to Joshua.
And I really wish that they had more narrow gauge things coming out so I can put those on the train as
The
well.
good thing I can tell you is
I
I've
built
got
that for you, George.
I know you did, and it's
I
beautiful.
built that for
pictures.
Nancy. Right.
But we got refrigerator cars that are stateside, and they should be here the week of the
Yeah,
12th.
that's what
so
I'm
I'll have something coming in soon,
Nice.
so we'll be able to do that. So,
So
that's
Blackstone
awesome.
Models is now starting. We got more models coming from Blackstone
Yes.
Models.
Great.
That's news.
Yeah.
That's
I
exciting.
like that news.
I'm happy about
Yeah.
that.
I know
Now
you don't want.
see-
You
now
probably
see,
can't talk about the steam
here-
engines.
here's-
but
here's
they're-
Yeah, no, I'm not going to.
They're in the
Can I-
planning. Okay.
Can I please say one thing with
Yeah, anything you
Blackstone
want, brother.
Models?
We love you, man.
Well, one thing about Blackstone Models is they've hit a niche, and they are almost more into it than the modeler that buys it. Because if they weren't, nobody'd be buying it. That is the one distinction you have over Overland and some other companies that just came out with some things. You're getting a real thing, and there's a different feeling behind your product than there is others. I don't know if it's just a perception of the ads or what he
No.
tells me.
We're kind of
Or what
very-
I've heard people talk about your models.
Well,
It's
we're
just something
very
else.
specific. We want to make sure that we're giving you as much detail as we possibly can.
This is what I'm hearing.
I used to joke with,
And I'm not even into narrow gauge.
We can help that. But I used to joke.
Well, that'd be a couple paid vacations, okay?
I'll just come out and visit Durango, and that'll get you hooked real quick.
I've heard
Trust
that.
me, I
I've
have
heard
a
it.
hard
I
time
bet.
with that.
I'll bet.
I mean,
I've
I
heard
know you guys know I model Missouri Pacific, and I have a hard time seeing those steam engines every day, and it just makes me want to switch.
Just
But
do it.
I sit
Yeah.
there and think about all the stuff I've got for all the Missouri Pacific stuff I've got, and it's like by the time I switch. Well, of course, I probably could buy a house, but
Look, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
because it's Mopac, you ain't never going to want to sell it. Get
well,
rid of
that's
it,
the
nothing.
problem.
But if you do, you have my phone number.
Good to know. But I used
And
to
he means it.
But I'll
That's
finish up
right.
by saying I was used to joke with one of our project managers. I said if he had his way, you'd be able to turn the brake wheel on those Blackstone cars, and the brakes would actually set.
You know, it sounds
There's
like
that
he
much
meant
detail.
that.
Yeah.
That's a,
So it's
You know
actually
what?
pretty cool.
I was going to bring in Daniel tonight.
that's a Dave
Yes.
Hussey kind
Wasn't
of
I?
guy.
Yeah.
You were going to say something. Daniel, we're at 3144.
I'll
George,
switch
switch
out.
out with Daniel.
I'll switch out
brother.
with Daniel.
Daniel
Hey,
wants
guys,
to talk
thanks a
about
lot.
his experience at being at the first RPM meet.
Yeah,
I mean,
his
this is his
first-
first
This
time.
His first one.
My first one was in
Right.
Chicago, what,
This will be
30
interesting.
years ago, I think it was. And back then it was called Naperville. Do you all remember Naperville, guys?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And wasn't it last year, Daniel, you had to go out of town to Florida with your friends and stuff?
Yeah, I was actually Vegas, I think.
Can you
Oh,
talk right into
Vegas.
that microphone, Daniel?
Well, when was
All right.
Florida?
That was about a year ago. I
That was,
think.
that was
I don't-
August, I think.
That was before
Yeah.
school started.
Yeah.
Get closer to that mic. I want to hear your voice.
All right, how
very
about
That
that?
sounds great. I like
Anyway,
it.
All right.
so the show.
The show, and like it was advertised before, it's like every time though I try to get in. And this year I was able to put my week request off at work, and I was able to make it. And of course, the first thing I do when I walked through the door yesterday, I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm here. All right. So, and like Josh had explained earlier, or whoever was explaining about, it's just about the friendship and the fellow modeling. You know,
Right.
there's no right or wrong to do
Yes.
anything.
Yeah.
It's the best hobby in the world.
It is.
The best people in the world.
Yep.
They're all here. We've got 30 people inside. We got another 30 people outside.
And there's a bunch
You've
of
got
people
your
outside that would
speakers
come in
set up
there.
outside, so everybody outside is also listening to the show
That's
and looking
right.
through the windows here. It's really kind of cool.
Probably. Yeah.
We got a nice bonfire going out there.
Yep.
And when we do rolling closing credits, before Daniel helps me close this one out, because I know you're going to after you tell us more about the show,
Okay.
we're going to run Dakota. We're going to run your train. You've got your train here, Ducky, on the main line, right? I'd love to shoot that run by.
Let's do a close up this time instead of a quick.
I don't even
by.
run
Let's just-
text in front of it. I hate to run text in front of it. It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
I
But you
wouldn't
can
do
see
that
all of his
either.
work in the October What's Neat video. It's coming. Daniel, look, go ahead and give us our last comments here.
Oh,
And
man,
we've
I-
got everybody else talked, right?
Well, there is
Yep.
just so much, but yeah, I know I got to keep it brief. But you know what? Was also seeing, like, meeting many of you as as our viewers here. I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching our show. Yeah.
Were you looking for anything at the show or anything? Or
Well, I did.
You did buy
burn
an
a hole-
engine.
I did burn a hole in my
Spring
pocket.
Creek was here. Dave was
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You all remember Dave from show 2 weeks ago
Yeah,
with
Dave.
his lovely wife.
Yeah.
And they were here working. His wife was
No,
in
his
another
wife?
city,
Pueblo.
right?
She was. She
Pueblo.
was at another show.
Yeah.
And then Dave was here. He was so
Right.
so gracious. He talked to
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
It was fun.
So,
I-
but Daniel, real quick. So, were you looking for something? You came to the show and you found it, or did you come here and just find it?
Probably the second choice.
Yeah.
I just came here and
Okay.
I found it. It's like, yeah, I needed to burn a hole in my pocket, but oh well.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Well, there's
I
always
found a
some in
lot
the
of
back of
stuff.
all of our minds. With, you know.
Yeah.
And now with all the other modules, I think the favorite ones, of course, were many Union Pacific rolling stock and other stuff on display. But everything else, I mean, was just like spot on to the prototype. And I think next year I'm going to try to have some of my own stuff because before I came, I was talking to Mike and a couple other guys here. I was like, oh, I just thought this was a prototype show. And they're like, oh no, there's no rules.
There are no
Do
rules.
whatever you want.
You could set up a little DCC installation table there, you know. And prep-
Absolutely, and believe
Show
me, there'd be
two
plenty of
clinics.
people interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You
You're
know what?
awesome,
That's a good
Daniel.
point. That's a good point. It's not all about the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Look at the guy that was coming out with the SD40-2 frame, and now
Was that
Scale
GSB?
Trains
Was that
has it.
GSB a long time ago? Right.
No, it was after him.
Okay.
But anyway,
Rock and roll, guys, the best hobby in the world.
Thank
That's all
you.
I
Best
got.
people in the world. This is show number 83 saying over and out for the Prototype Modelers Meet for 2019. Until next year, guys, rock and roll. Let's go run
2020.
some
Thanks everybody for
Yeah.
coming tonight.
thanks Bob for showing up. I'm so happy you're here. You and Frank. Now we can run something, and we're gonna run some.
All right, David, thank you very much. Good night, folks. There you guys. Here comes the cars.
Greetings, hello.